Okay, our final video is going to be on adding and subtracting fractions. When we do that, we need to have a common denominator. So we're going to be looking for the least common denominator. So our procedures are such as this. If you want to follow along in your book on page 318, if I had the fraction 3/4 plus 1/3, I need to make sure my denominators, which are 4 and 3, and I'm going to find the least common denominator, which is actually a multiple. Remember, multiples, well, we haven't talked about multiples yet. Multiples are like skip counting. So multiples of 4 would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. Multiples of 3 would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. In that list, do you see a number that they both have in common? Hopefully you see 12. So I'm going to turn these into equivalent fractions, okay? So 3/4 is going to change it into 12ths, and 1/3 I'm going to change into 12ths. And you remember that I change them to equivalent fractions as long as I multiply the denominator and the numerator by the same thing. So 4 times what is 12? 3. So if I take 4 times 3, I get 12. I have to multiply 3 times 3, and I get 9. Then I take 3 times 4 to get 12. And I take 1 times 4, and I get 4. So now I have 9/12 plus 4/12. That's my new problem. 9/12 plus 4/12. It's like if this was a pie cut in 4 pieces, and this was a pie cut into 3 pieces. Somebody's going to get 3 of the 4 pieces of pie, and someone's going to get 1 of the 3rd. Well, the 3rd pieces of pie are going to be bigger chunks because I have the same size pie and I only need to divide it 3 ways. Here, I have a pie and I have to divide it 4 ways. So these pieces will be smaller. In order to combine them, we need to cut it the same amount, which is 12. Okay? So now I can just add my numerators. 9 plus 4 is 13. And guess what? My denominator stays the same. 13/12 is an improper fraction. 12 goes into 13 one time with 1 left over. So it's 1 and 1/12. You'll do the same kind of thing with subtraction. The one thing I want us to focus on right now, instead of doing sample problems, I'll do more of those in class on Wednesday, is to come up with common denominators and change them. So I'm going to give us 3 problems, and then we're going to change them to problems that we can add or subtract. Let's try 7/8 plus 1/3. Let's try 5/7 minus 1/14. And let's try 2/3 plus, I don't know, 1/2. Okay? So my denominators in the first one are 8 and 3. So I'm going to skip count by 8. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. I'm going to skip count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Okay? Looks like 24 is my common denominator. So it becomes 24 and 24. 8 times what is 24? 3. So that means I have to take 7 times 3, which is 21. 3 times what is 24? 8. So that means I have to take 1 times 8, and that is 8. Then I'm ready to add. How about 7 and 14? Well, 7, 14, 21, 28. Well, I already have one, 14. Guess what then? I don't have to change my second denominator. 7 times what is 14? 2. 5 times what 2 is 10. Now I'm ready to subtract. 2/3 and 1/2. Well, here I have thirds already. I've already made a list. Might be a good thing to start listing some multiples on the back of your primes card. That might be a good spot. So I need multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, there's a 6 here and a 6 here, so it looks like it's going to be 6. 3 times what is 6? 3 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 3 is, 2 times 3 is 6. So 1 times 3 is 3. Common denominator. Now we're ready to add. Okay, so when we add and subtract fractions, first we need to have a common denominator. Second, we add or subtract just the numerators. Third, we keep the denominator the same. Hopefully you've got a little bit of background of fractions for Wednesday night.